Welcome to the Joma Show, the show where we give you tips and tricks on how to land a successful career in tech. Now today we have a special guest, Mayuko.
Woohoo! Hi.
How you doing?
Good.
So I guess first things first, happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Do you have any costume?
I'm still working on mine right now, but I am going to a show on Tuesday on Halloween night, so I'm pretty excited for that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking of just bringing this to the office, showing everyone and stuff like that. But yeah, cool. I guess I'll start with some short questions.
Cool.
Just to see, if we can be friends.
Okay.
So there's no right answer.
Okay.
But there's a right answer if you want to be my friend.
Okay. Hopefully I answered them right.
Mac or PC?
Mac.
Dope. Okay, all right, good answer. iPhone or Android?
iPhone.
It was
Yes.
poppin'. Okay, favorite programming language?
Swift.
Okay, that's okay because you're an iOS developer. And okay, I guess what about favorite editor?
Favorite editor? I have a love and hate relationship with this one, but it has to be Xcode.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Wait, can you code not on Xcode?
Yeah, you
for
can.
iOS?
Yeah.
It must be a lot harder, right?
It is, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I'm all about the Vim
Yeah.
master race.
You can code on Vim, but then you don't get all the the nice
that's true.
syntax-y stuff.
I think that's why I'm not a iOS engineer. I can never do that. Okay, what about this? Coffee or tea?
I'm gonna say tea.
Tea?
Yeah.
Nice, that's good. I actually don't drink either.
Oh, really?
That wasn't even a question that I kept. I like Hint Water. Do you know what this? Do you guys have this?
No, we don't have that.
Yeah, sponsored by Hint Water.
We're like every other tech company in that we have a shit ton of LaCroix.
Wait, what is that?
LaCroix, it's like flavored sparkling water. It's in the little cans.
Oh, yeah, those ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are alright. They're kind of like Hint, but fizzled, I guess.
Yeah.
Cool. So you are an iOS engineer.
I am an engineer.
At Patreon?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yep. Yeah. I'm an iOS engineer at Patreon. I've been doing iOS development for about 3-ish years now. And I haven't done any other types of mobile programming, but yeah, I used to work at Intuit and I worked on the TurboTax and QuickBooks apps, and now I work at Patreon. I've been there for about 1.5 years now.
Nice.
But yeah, it's really fun. I like it a lot.
Cool. Wait, so in Intuit, were you an iOS engineer also?
I was.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about before then?
Before then, I was in school.
And did you do any iOS programming then?
I took one class called mobile programming, where we made an iOS app.
Oh.
But actually, even before that, there was a software engineering course that I took where we made an Android app. So I've made an Android app before I made an iOS app.
Wow.
So I used Android Studio, and then I came to Xcode, and I was like, Xcode is so much cleaner. Don't hate me.
Apple's great.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I guess one thing I always wanted to know, how do we even get started with iOS development? Because I always wanted to make apps, because that's what's cool now. Nobody uses web anymore. But it's just so hard. The first thing I pop up is Xcode, and then it tells me to download all these things I don't know what they are. And then, I don't know, frames? Is that something? I have no idea.
Right.
How do I even get started?
Yeah. So iOS definitely, there's a lot of different things that you need to learn in order to get started.
Okay.
And so that can be really intimidating for folks. When I first started doing iOS development in that mobile programming class, we opened up Xcode and there were so many knobs that I was just panic, can't do it. And so when I got started, thankfully there's a TA that walked us through how to use it. And so once we understood how to use Xcode, it obviously became a lot easier. But in terms of the actual programming language, Swift and Objective-C, which people don't typically learn in school, as well as all the different patterns and frameworks and stuff that you have to use, it can be really intimidating. But thankfully there's a lot of online resources, like a lot of other programming languages. And the two that I recommend for getting started is one actually by Apple. Apple is really trying to get more people to do iOS development. That was part of the motivation for inventing the programming language Swift. And so if you actually look up iOS tutorial by Apple, there is a great tutorial that teaches you how to make your first app. And it shows you kind of step by step where to click and all those kinds of things, as well as what to code. My second most recommended actually I have 3. So my second one is a website called raywonderlic.com. Ray Wenderlich is a person that owns this like website, and he has a bunch of writers that writes these tutorials, and the iOS tutorials are super, super good. They, again, are step-by-step tutorials, and like, here's what you need to code, here's what you need to do. And it has everything from like how to even get started to like, here's how to use this very specific framework to do a very specific thing. Like, I don't know, maybe you want to like use the camera to detect if it's a fruit or if it's a hot dog in some cases.
Not hot dog.
Yeah.
Have you seen Silicon Valley?
I watched a little bit of it, yeah.
It was like Jin Yang, it was like a developer. He made an app that can detect what the food is.
Yeah.
And then he does the demo. He's like, oh, it's hot dog. But then when you point at something else, it just says not hot dog.
Yeah.
And that's all I can do.
At WWDC this year, Apple came out with like AR, VR kit, or I guess AR kit. And like, AR kit, like they basically integrate it into iPhone, right? And so they were doing a bunch of demos. There's so many references to like hot dog, not hot dog. I feel like Silicon Valley, the show won.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So I guess like, you know, back-end engineers, we have like some inside jokes, you know, we talk about certain things or like certain bugs that we encounter frequently.
Yeah.
Are there any iOS things that are similar?
Yeah.
Like,
my favorite ones are against Xcode, which is the IDE that we use to do development. But Xcode is like I think any IDE can be really finicky.
Right.
And so there's two running jokes that I like love, and one is like, if we say to each other like, oh, have you tried cleaning derived data? And derived data is just like this cache that that Xcode uses to be able to compile faster. But if something doesn't work, then that's like kind of generally the first thing that you do. I think one of my top tweets is actually a meme I made out of that. That's my claim to fame on Twitter.
Nice.
And there's actually my second favorite one against Xcode is there's this like Tumblr. I forgot what it's called. It must be something called like shit Xcode says or something.
I see.
But it's like a text message thread between yourself and Xcode, and so it like throws different errors and stuff, and you're just like, wait, but why is it? And there's just it just repeats the error. It's just all these things that Xcode does that are just so annoying, but I love that blog so much.
That's interesting because like your favorite editor is Xcode, but it's also like super annoying. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. I guess I want to know more like about you.
Cool.
You know,
yeah.
like for example, I guess just tell me about your life story, and then we'll go to high school, and then we'll go to college, all the secret dirt. You know, I want to know everything.
All right, we're gonna be real vulnerable and real honest here right now. Cool. So I was born in the East Coast, in Massachusetts specifically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I was really little when we moved back to Japan, my family and I.
I see.
And we lived there for about 2 years.
Which part of Japan?
In Kobe.
Oh,
yeah. It's kind of near like Kyoto, Osaka area, but Kobe is known like most commonly tied to Kobe beef.
Oh yeah,
or Kobe Bryant, you know. So we lived there for like 2 years, and then we moved back to the States when I was like 3 something. So I barely remember living in Japan.
Right.
But I lived on the East Coast until I was about 10, living between like New York and Connecticut. And so like my early childhood memories were like, you know, having snow days and like playing in the leaves and all that kind of stuff. I was also like the only Asian kid in school for a lot of the time.
Oh,
so
interesting.
yeah.
Same.
And then when I moved to San Diego, California when I was 10. Yeah. San Diego.
Hey, just chilling.
Yeah, just chilling, you know, dude. And yeah, I went to middle school, high school there, and then I went to college at UC San Diego, which was only like 20 minutes away from my house.
Cool.
But I went there and got my degree in computer science, and then I moved to the Bay Area.
Cool. I guess like one question, because when I was a kid, like in elementary school, I guess, you know, I liked things that are more engineering type, but I just didn't know. For example, I liked building Legos, or I liked playing this game called Kingdom Hearts. And there's one small part of the game where you could build a spaceship, and I love that. I played it more than the actual game itself. You know, I just love building things.
Yeah.
So what about you? Like when you were a child, like did you do anything like that?
Not really, actually. I'm trying to think back, and I couldn't really like dig up. Like I wasn't someone who played with a bunch of Legos.
Yeah.
I also wasn't. I guess like one thing that I think was common to a lot of like girls that were my age was playing Neopets. Yeah.
Love that game. I'm a beast. I used to play like stock market in Neopets.
Yeah.
I used to trade like marketplace, like buy and sell stuff.
Yeah.
And I trained my little Kiko. I think that was the Neopet name, the Kiko, to become like really strong. And I was like beating everyone in the stadium.
Yeah. I always
Good
like
times.
made sure like that my like Neopets page or whatever I used to like make my page look good. I think that was kind of one of my first exposures to coding. But also I was always like getting free omelets, spinning the wheel of fortune, getting all the free stuff at Neopets.
Love it. Yeah.
That was super fun. But other than that, I think generally like I really liked math when I was growing up.
Boom! 2 + 2 is 4. -1, that's 3. Quick maths.
And so like playing computer
Nerd.
games, I was that person. Playing computer games that were like math oriented, even if it was like an educational one.
Like what? What game is math oriented?
Well, so in elementary school they try to get you to play these educational games.
Yeah, they're not games.
Yeah.
It's homework.
But I thought of them as games.
Okay.
And there was one game that I loved playing that was like this like cash register game.
Oh my god.
And you're supposed to like form the amount with your exact like with
Change?
coins and change and stuff.
Oh
and I was like, this is so cool. This is what I want to be when I grow up.
Did you develop a dynamic programming algorithm for that when you were a kid?
Maybe I did, but I was just like, this is what I would want to do when I grow up.
Oh my god.
I want to like do this mathy stuff and whatever. Like I love that game. Not even a game. It was fun.
Right.
I love that. But yeah, I think, and then like as I became a teenager, Zanga was a big thing, and also like customizing your Zanga page. Yeah. And like even though a lot of it was kind of like, I didn't make a whole template for Zanga for my page, but being able to tweak little things here and there to make it look like how I wanted it to, I guess was kind of an early indicator.
I think, that's true. Like tweak, do you have to like code a little bit? Like at least like the hex numbers for the colors and stuff?
A little bit, like going into CSS and making sure that I have the right color. Like colors were kind of like the big thing.
Right,
just a lot of like UI type things and like moving like, maybe I don't want this here, but I want it here, and reading through the HTML/XML or whatever it was written in to do that. Yeah.
So I mean, since you liked math so much, were you like a nerd in school?
I kind of was. I was definitely like, in second and third grade you do those like multiplication tables, sheets that you have to finish in 5 minutes. I was like always the first one to be done because I was hella competitive in that.
Wow.
Yeah. But also like my dad taught me my multiplications tables like earlier on, so I was like,
my parents too. And there's like a Cantonese, not a song, but they make you memorize it in Cantonese.
Yeah, Japanese too.
So I'm actually pretty bad at multiplication when we do like contests, like me against like a friend, because they would say it in French. I would have to translate in Cantonese and then do the multiplication and then retranslate it to French. Oh my god, it was so hard. So then people thought it was super slow.
But really it was just a language barrier.
Yeah, it was a language barrier.
Yeah.
So what about high school? Like who'd you hang out with? Were they like math whiz kids?
No, not
or like cool kids?
Well, so my school was really big. My high school had about, I think my graduating class was about 700 people. So there are thousands of kids in school. So when there's that many kids in school, there's a lot of like cliques, right?
Right.
So we had like the skater kids and the jocks and the cheerleaders. And
the skater.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Really?
Yeah. But we were more like rappers and skaters. I don't know if that was a thing for you guys.
I don't think there were any rappers at my school. Maybe
they didn't rap. They just liked rap music. No, that would take skills. Like, no.
That would be really impressive.
That would be impressive, but no.
Yeah, so like I was like, I'm not like a nerd. I'm not going to be in like science Olympiad or anything like that. But I did play tennis and I did orchestra. And I was also like...
Orchestra, nice.
Yeah.
What'd you play?
I played violin.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Very, very Asian.
It's very difficult instrument to play.
It is, yeah. It's really, I had a lot of fun though, and my orchestra class was always like very tight knit and really small. We went to like Disneyland every year for festival, and we went to New York one year together to play at Carnegie Hall, which was like really, really cool. Yeah,
nice.
That was probably my favorite year of orchestra. We were just like super tight knit, and we had a lot of fun. Our teacher was like really cool too. And so I think I hung out with like the orchestra kids a lot of the time, but it was basically like orchestra kids and like speech and debate kids were kind of together, but really it was just like a lot of Asian people at my school, or like I was hanging out with the Asian people at my school, and so we tended to all be in like the AP classes, so I guess we were like the nerds.
Yeah, I think you guys were nerds. I mean, just like listen to yourself. Orchestra club, AP classes,
speech and debate.
Speech and debate.
But it was weird because I was kind of like in my own little bubble because it was such a big school. I didn't ever feel like I was like a nerd, because like I would never mix with like the kids who didn't take AP classes.
Those people would call you nerds. So you were.
But I wasn't friends with them, but I didn't care about it, so I had to keep my self-esteem somewhere.
Dope.
But I think I was like kind of shy, kind of quiet, but also like I guess I was kind of like a nerdish, but
But I guess you didn't do any programming before college, right?
I did not know.
Okay.
I was like, I thought computer science was for like geeks and like old white men. Yeah.
Cool.
Well, so yeah, because I just like my thought of, I didn't really think that computer science was for me. Like the way that computer science and software engineers are depicted in the media was often, you know, like gamers and like
makes sense.
Yeah. And none of them like looked like me. And I was also just like, I think that's a little too intense for me. I'm not that into computers.
It's true, but I think we're getting better.
Yeah.
Like in media, especially.
Definitely.
You know, like we have coders, like, you know, it was very diverse back. We've got like programmers now.
Yeah.
Not nerdy at all, you know. And then they work out, you know.
Although my secret about programmers, I think it's just like the nerdy people trying to overcompensate a little bit.
We're not nerds. No, I'm not a programmer at all. But yeah, I mean, I try to be. I try to work out and stuff like that. Yeah. But yeah, I do think there's a little bit of overcompensation.
Yeah. But working out and being healthy is a good thing.
Exactly. Drinking Soylent every day. You know? Love it.
Have to take care of yourself. So that's fine. That's totally cool.
I was wondering, like, how did you end up in computer science then, if you didn't even want to be a computer scientist?
I thought so. When I entered college, I thought I was going to be a chemistry major because I was like, chemistry's cool. There's like equations, and then you do experiments to prove the equations are right, and it's like, whoa. But I took my first class, which was like quantum mechanics in chemistry, and it was like freshman year, fall quarter, and I was like,
what
the hell?
That's not an intro course.
Yeah, I was like, what does quantum mean? What does mechanics mean? It was really intimidating, and I was like, I don't think I can actually do this, even if I did understand it.
Right.
And then I tried neuroscience. That also didn't work out. And I was just talking to my floor mates one day at my dorm, and I was like, I don't really know what I'm going to declare next. Like, I'm kind of out of ideas. And he was a computer engineer, which was another form of computer science at my school. And I had just taken a intro to logic class as part of the philosophy department.
Right.
And that was kind of like, it was really just like doing proofs and stuff, but just the logical nature of it was like, made a lot of sense to me. And so I told my friend about that, and he was like, you should try computer science, because literally it's just like all logic. And I was like, oh, there's a major that's all logic. And so, yeah, I took an intro to computer science class, and that was the first intro to whatever class that I was like, I kind of like this, and I think I can understand a lot of it.
Nice.
And that's when it clicked, and I was just like, that's it, I'm doing computer science. And then it just like, next thing I knew, I was in my second, third, fourth year, and I was a computer science major.
Yeah, so I guess now, like, I'm curious, like, what do you do outside of work, aside from YouTubing nowadays?
Oh, yeah.
You know, because,
Yeah, well, I would say, I was going to say YouTube, because it takes quite a bit of time. I mean, I'm happy to do it, but like, you know, it's a solid hobby now.
Right.
Other than that, I think, I like to hang out with friends. Like, I have a cat and a dog, and so hanging out with them. Nice. Watching YouTube. I don't actually have like side projects very often for coding. I've started a couple before, but I haven't fully like committed like 2 months to one. And so, I'm like, I think I'm someone who's actually really bad at holding hobbies. I'll like play guitar for like a month, and then I'll be like, I'm done. And I'll go to the gym for like a month, and I'm like, okay, I'm done. And then it's just like, I try a bunch of stuff, and then I like stop. But I used to like beat myself up over this, because I was like, Mayuko, you can't do anything. But now I'm just like, you know what? You're an adult, and you can do whatever you want. And I was like, I do what I want with my time.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Do you want to be an iOS engineer like forever? Like, what's your 5-year plan?
That's a good question. It's something that I've been thinking about really like a lot recently. Until like a couple months ago, I was like, I'm going to be an iOS engineer, or at least a software engineer forever. I didn't really see myself going into management or like being like the owner of a company or anything like that. But more recently, I've been more open to the idea of like becoming a manager. So right now, my 5-year plan, I think, looks like I still really want to up my skills as like a software engineer. I think there's still some stuff there. I feel like I have pretty good, solid like coding skills now, but in terms of like architecting a whole system or owning the delivery of a big thing, like those are kind of skills that I want to have more of. Right. So that's what I'm kind of trying to do over the next year. And then like probably maybe considering going into some sort of management position, maybe. But at the same time, like if I feel that what I'm doing in terms of like owning big systems and big decisions at work is really fulfilling, then I might just keep doing that. But really, I think like it's fun to be evaluating at all times, like what I want to do with my life. And like YouTube has like really changed a lot of that for me, because I'm like, I like to have a big impact on other people with like what I have in my brain and what experiences that I've had. And so like maybe YouTube is something I like really lean into as well. So yeah, I guess we'll see, but I think definitely gonna stay in tech at least. But really trying to think of ways to like broaden my impact and to help some of those things that are trying to happen in the world right now. Specifically like things like getting more women into tech, also helping my company with their mission to get more creators paid and help them get a good, living salary for the art that they make.
For sure.
We'll see.
Nice. Super exciting. And do you want to say anything to my 20 viewers?
Sure. Definitely like Joma's like future series is going to be super funny. I saw a teaser of it and it's so funny, so I'm really excited for that. But also for some self-promo, check out my YouTube channel, Hello Mayuko, and I'm on social media ever also as Hello Mayuko, so come check me out.
Cool. Yeah, thanks for watching and see you next time.
Cool.
Don't
Bye.
forget to like and subscribe.